Hi everybody, it's Dr. Hill here from Advanced Animal Care Berea, and I'm here today with our clinic cat, Sunny. He's going to be hanging out with us for some of these videos, and today we're going to be talking about some feline nutrition points.
All right, Dr. Hill, how does nutrition impact the health and well-being of my cat?
As you can imagine for yourself, nutrition has a really big impact on these guys. And there's a bunch of different types of nutrition out there. You go to a food store like Tractor Supply or PetSmart, and I'm sure everybody knows there's a million and different things under the sun. What we recommend is making sure that you get a nutrition that is appropriate for your pet's age type. So whether they're a puppy or a kitten, whether they're an adult animal, or they even have, some brands even have senior diets, or they call them mature diets. And you just want to make sure that if your veterinarian recommends a prescription diet, like we have some here, because sometimes we have some cats and we recommend that they be on urinary diets or renal and kidney diets, or even sometimes gastrointestinal diets. It can really make a big difference for the health and the life of your pet, and especially their quality of life as well. I know cats are really tend to developing some urinary tract issues, so we have quite a lot of patients here on this Royal Canin Urinary SO, and it really does make a difference for their urinary health so that they can be more comfortable and prevent more urinary tract infections from developing.
Thank you. So what are some nutritional requirements for a cat?
Yeah, so that's always the big question, and everybody knows that, cats are more of the true carnivore compared to dogs, but that doesn't mean that they strictly need just meat in their diet. They need other things too, and there's definitely some specific amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that these guys need that are provided in those formulated ration diets that you get at the store or from your veterinarian that aren't always present in some of those raw diets. And of course too, I know people want to feed their cats raw because they think that they're providing the best for their true carnivore at home, but we tend to run into a lot of issues with raw diets, one of them being things like E. coli overloads, salmonella overloads, and even listeria, which can then spread to the owners and make the owners sick too. So I always tell my owners to stick to those recommended over-the-counter or prescription diets.
Great. So will my cat's nutritional requirements change throughout their life as a kitten, adult, and senior cat?
Yeah, so definitely. So back to what I hinted on earlier. So you definitely want to make sure that the nutrition that you're getting for your pet is appropriate for their age, because they have different nutritional requirements at different stages in their life. So a growing kitten is going to need different things that an old geriatric cat like Sunny here would need. And so that's why you want to make sure that if you have a senior guy at home, I like the senior diets that are out there. If you just got a new kitten, be sure that you're feeding them some kitten food. And then when they hit a year old, it's okay to transition those guys over to adult food. And then I like to start that senior diet kind of when they hit around that 7 to 8 year mark for kitties.
So what are some signs and symptoms of a poor cat nutrition in my cat?
So one of the first things that we see is that skin and hair coat. So that's the easiest way to look. If you've got a cat with a nice healthy hair coat, it's nice and shiny, their skin looks nice and healthy, that is a good marker of making sure that they're getting good nutrition as well as good weight. So we obviously don't want an overly overweight cat, because we can lead to things like diabetes or some other diseases that are out there that are more prone in obese pets. And we also want to make sure that they're not too skinny. So their hair coat, their skin, their body weight, and then the other thing that I look at too is teeth, So I generally recommend for cats eating a dry food diet or a mix of dry or canned. Of course, some cats develop some issues where they need just a sole canned food diet, and that's okay, but that hard food really helps keep that tartar and plaque off their teeth, which keeps their teeth healthier longer, because sometimes these guys, just like they're prone to those urinary tract infections, can also be prone to some dentition problems as well.
So what are some common food allergies in cats, and how can I tell if my cat is suffering from them?
So the most common food allergies that we see in kitties are going to be related to the protein source. And the most common protein source that causes a food allergy is actually going to be chicken. So what you may see more than anything is some itchiness. So if your cat seems overly itchy, whether it be in their ears, in their back, at their shoulders, or their chin, scratching a bit is something that I think about when I think with food allergies. Or you can have some gastrointestinal signs. So maybe your cat's starting to vomit a little bit more and you switched food, or they've developed a little bit of loose or runny stool. That would definitely be a clue into maybe looking at the protein source in the diet if it was recently changed, or a new food was started or something like that.
Great. So I only have one more question, and it's when it comes to cat food, what and how much should I be feeding them when it comes to kibble versus canned versus fresh food?
Yeah, so your veterinarian can make the best tailored plan for your cat, depending on what their needs are, their stage of life, and everything like that. But my general rule of thumb for clients, when we're feeding dry food for a healthy adult cat, is to generally feed a half a cup of food per cat per day. So whether you give that as one feeding or you break that up into multiple feedings, that's kind of your personal preference, but that's my rule of thumb that I start with. But every pet is different, so there might be some different recommendations. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or your veterinarian.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.